Studio, DB.
Yes, we are. We had a little field trip, right?
We did, and
more on that later, right?
More on that later. We had some mishaps, but we're going to get to it. Here we are at episode 25.
Mishaps is my middle name.
Yeah, episode 25. We're calling this one "Bourdain in the Vein." Sophisticatos mount up. So, in this week's episode, we're going to talk about Bourdain Day. We're going to talk about the A's breaking ground. We're going to talk about jugging, what it is, what's happening here. We're going to talk about an increase in accidents with e-bikes and scooters.
Speaking of e-bikes, my daughter just bought one. See that?
She sure did. Look at that.
I'm like, wear your helmet, kid.
You're going to rant on Bellagio parking rates and what they did this week. We're going to talk about little hiccups at the airport. Speaking of mishaps, what else? The Dolly Parton Residency announced at the Colosseum.
Crazy. Yeah, that's awesome.
First time in 2 decades?
Okay, well, we'll talk about it more in a minute.
Crazy Lake Tahoe boating accidents. The Best of Vegas 2025 was just released by The Weekly. We're going to get back to talking about Cheers. And again, in the compendium part of it, we're going to talk about Neon Desert Brewing with Glenn and Jimmy. So
it was a fun visit.
Episode 25 coming up.
The sun is up, time to embark. Forget the rules, we'll make a mark. From bar to bar, the world's our stage. With Darren and Chris, we're turning the page. The neon signs, they light our way.
And we're back. Vegas Day Drinkers, sip, socialize, shine. Let's get topical, Mr. Benjamin.
Yes, let's.
What do you want to take up first? You want to talk about our Bourdain Day?
Maybe we should just go down the list.
Maybe we should. It's there. So June 25th, 1956 was the arrival on the planet of Anthony Michael Bourdain.
Who is related to Chris Saenz genetically.
Yes.
Not familially.
Yeah, DNA samples are currently being swapped. But every year since his passing, by taking his own life, I've gone down there, and Mr. Benjamin, who lost his Huntridge virginity,
first time
on Wednesday for Bourdain Day, went and visited the dive bar in Charleston, Maryland.
It lived up to the expectation too. We had an encounter that was worthy.
Yeah, so we. Everywhere we go, we either get permission in writing first or ask the bartender for permission to record. We respect other people's rights, even though everywhere you go in this goddamn country and world now, you're recorded.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
But we had a nice see you next Tuesday that was off camera the whole time and expressed concern about not getting releases from everyone whose backs were to the fucking bar.
Yeah.
About being recorded.
You'll see it. Yeah. You'll see the outtakes.
Full thievery in action, because apparently all the
surprisingly, what did you say about the bar? They did not have the drink that Bourdain drank.
So you can see it in Parts Unknown. When he was in Vegas, he was sipping on Jameson Black Barrel, which they do not currently have and haven't had for a few years. So,
which is a shame, because Jameson Black Barrel is amazing.
Yeah, and we might remedy that.
This episode brought to you by Jameson.
Yeah.
Thanks, Raul.
Yeah, thank you. But again, it was another one in the books. I think it's been 7 years now since he's been gone, which is entirely too fast.
And if you haven't, Chris gave me the book. It's called
In the Weeds.
In the Weeds.
By his associate
producer, and
his name's Tom Vitale, I believe.
And it is a fantastic book. And if you have ever had a bout with depression, or know anybody that's committed suicide, or even thought about it yourself, it is a very good book to read and help you understand.
There was a couple books post mortem of Mr. Bourdain. One being released that we just talked about, Tom Vitale, In the Weeds. And then his executive assistant, her name's Lori Wolever. Please excuse the mispronunciation. And I can't think of the name of the title of her book, but I read both. And his, in my opinion, blew it out of the water. I mean, I've told you before, I gave it to you and then to a couple other people. To me, being upstate New York, or up the river from New York City, and Bill Murray just catching a ride back down to the city with them was worth the $29.99 cost at the time, or whatever.
Yeah. That part of the book, it's towards the end of the book, is probably one of the most exciting chapters.
So once we chop this up in Opus and make this into 15-second to 2-minute segments, if we can just put the whole book together for you and we'll recite it.
There's way more than that. They were in a couple countries. I don't remember. Was it Sudan or was it
no?
Was Sudan?
War-torn countries for sure.
Yeah, they were in, and there was many harrowing experiences they went through just so he could.
Yeah.
bring the world a different point of view.
It wasn't sipping a nice
And I think-
Hefeweizen from a local brewery in a lazy Saturday afternoon in suburban Las
And
Vegas.
I would implore people to watch his shows, because I think a lot of people, especially here in this town, they don't get outside of their worldview. Like we have in casinos now, we have Vanderpump bars and casinos everywhere now. It's all reality TV. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's anything but reality, if to be honest. Anyway, moving on.
So that was the 25th of June. Let's go back in time, which is another subject that we're going to circle around in a moment. Actually, let's just talk about it now. Did you see that there is an actual search out for the Les Gibson guitar that they used in 1985's Back to the Future? Like, so you have all the stars. I just saw this morning. It popped up on my social media. So you have Christopher Lloyd. You have Michael J. Fox. You have Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson. Thank you. The gentleman that played Marvin Berry on stage, and then the writer of the series. So they are on a worldwide search to wherever this guitar is
to find the old Les Paul.
Yeah,
really.
They don't know if it was, ancillary support, if it's in a garage somewhere.
I mean, that's got to be so hard to find, especially if it's been used over.
Well,
the
they
years.
said if it's found, they will make it worth it. So I don't know what their intentions are.
Interesting.
Yeah, but did I write it down? It was like, get my guitar back in town or something like that.
I'll look it up.
But before that, going back in time, it was interesting because anyone who was around in the 80s, obviously it's an iconic film by Robert Zemeckis, and one that, usually when it is on cable, it's even though you've seen it 100 times, it's still a must watch. Going back to that, the 25th of June, 2 days previous, the mayor, the governor, Rob Manfred, who is the commissioner of MLB baseball, and a couple other dignitaries, if you will, be it from MLB and or Las Vegas, Nevada, broke ground on the new A's Stadium.
I saw that. They were giving away.
John Fisher, who's the owner of the A's.
They were inviting social media influencers, and they gave them balls like rubbed in the dirt on the ground where they broke ground.
I did miss that. So that was,
They made a whole event out of it. I saw a couple of blurbs on social media. It looked kind of fun.
So that was
excited.
That was like this past Monday. And we're on the 27th, 8th.
I'm only excited to go see the Mariners.
I'm only excited to go see the Royals.
Yeah.
I did talk to a sales rep last night. I was telling you this off air before we started, who will be the head ticketing guy when they open their sales office here in a couple months. I think he said September, out in the Uncommons. And he said initially there's 90% interest from like mostly 702 accounts. So, I mean, there may be some hemming and hawing, but.
Well, I mean, people are just, I think, you know what, to be honest with you, I think it's just people looking to cash in on the craze of the Knights and the Raiders. Being able to resell tickets and make
I'm
money.
sure. And it's going to be a small stadium because it's only going to be like 30 or 33,000. So
yeah, by
MLB standards, it should look full most times.
Yeah. So
live events are going on.
I think it's exciting. I think it's cool. I'm not interested in buying tickets, obviously. I'm not a huge sports fan, but I'm still excited to go, see the Mariners occasionally, time to time.
And, we've talked about it before. Again, it'll probably be, at least for the first 5 years, other teams' fan bases coming into Vegas set dates.
I really still wish that they would create new franchises, a la the Thunder, which were the Sonics, who just won the championship. We should mention that, by the way.
Sure.
And the Raiders has a divisive fan base. And the A's, I don't think anybody really cares. If they would have changed the name, I think it would have been more excited.
The A's have history because, I think they have 7 or 8 World Series championships through the years.
Yeah, but who cares? If you're a baseball fan, great, but that means you're probably 60 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter. They should have created a new brand, even more exciting, kind of like the Knights. That's just my personal opinion.
Vegas day drinkers, we are our own version of the Bash Brothers.
This Hefeweizen is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
Shall we?
No,
One more?
Did a good job. Yeah, cheers. This week, too, a little closer to us, at least where we earn our incomes in the daytime. Sparkety Spark, don't come back. American Airlines Airbus had a little problem taking off. Did you see that?
Yeah, wasn't that crazy? Like, engine caught fire in the air. They had to turn around right away and come on back down. One of my fellow airport bartenders, he posted, he was working right at the gate. They brought that plane back too.
Oh, really?
And he was like, there was some white faces in there.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a lot of people that needed a drink after that. But they apparently fixed the problem right there at the gate, as far as I know. It looked like I talked to, I didn't talk to, I saw somebody post about it that was an airplane mechanic, and they said it was just like a flame out. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay.
I mean, it's obviously a big deal,
Sure.
but it wasn't that big of a deal. But it made for quite the entertainment, on the social medias.
Quite the midweek, you said, post. Would you want to get back on that plane?
I wouldn't care. My dad worked at Boeing for 30 years,
Yeah, but this is Airbus.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, I would totally get on it. Yeah. I mean, I'd be maybe a little bit nervous, but
same plane, same day.
People launch themselves on rockets going, faster than bullets into space. I'm okay with that.
And you were telling me, listening to one of your informational channels midweek, also Bellagio changed up some things.
Yeah, Bellagio decided to get rid of their free parking. It used to be, if you're a local, 1 hour in, 1 hour out, free. But now they have scratched that, and now everybody pays. And I guess it's going to be $25 from the moment, if you're there 5 minutes, $25. Now, I know why they did it, and they will tell you it's not why they did it, but they did it because they want people to pay to go see the conservatory, because the conservatory costs a lot of money for them to upkeep. And they know that people were bouncing in there, bouncing out within an hour, just so they can get their social media pictures. And it's just another nail in the coffin, corporate America just really taking us to task, and just wanting their cut. I get it. It's beautiful in there. It's expensive to maintain, but just raise your prices, just raise your drink prices by a quarter,
I think they've already risen them enough.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
I mean, maybe that's the idea, is people might be more inclined to stay, right? If you argue, water's wet, and I say the sky is blue. I mean, my family's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it, going in there and seeing the newest constellation or whatever for the season.
It's just another corporate America. Everything has to be profitable. Everything has to make money, and it just squeezing us to all ends. I will tell you that Bellagio, I think the Wynn, I believe the Wynn still has free parking for locals, and they have a wonderful show that's free as well.
Survey and I, we popped down to see Mr. Rafferty on his birthday last week, and Park MGM currently is doing, now non-event day, non-whatever, but again, upon exit, first 3 hours free.
So, I mean, technically, there you go. Here's your workaround. You go to Mandalay or Park MGM, you take the monorail tram over to the Bellagio, hop back over, 3 hours, bam. And so there's your workaround. Screw you, Bellagio. Now
Nevada Brewworks will motherfuck us because we gave away the happy hour hamburger pricing.
That's right.
I guess that is a workaround, but I guess it is too, like I said, at holidays when my sister, brother-in-law, and the niece and nephew have been in town, have we gone down there, parked, and maybe bought a coffee? Yeah, but am I excited about spending $10 on a basic coffee?
Locals, come on, just give the locals something.
Right.
Really, if I get it though, but yeah.
And I know it's all over social media right now because it's trending kind of like on Google about is Vegas broken? Are we truly? I
mean, every time you get anything on the internet, every time there's a new Marvel movie and it doesn't make $1 billion, they're like, is Marvel dead? Yeah. So it's just a trend on social media to try to get clicks.
And I guess
Vegas is not dead. There's no stretch of the imagination. It's just corporate America. I call it the Disneyfication of Las Vegas. Every department has to make money. So whether that be the conservatory, the slots, the bars, the restaurants, it all has to make money.
Well, does it matter that I saw corpses on the strip the other night? Oh wait, that was it.
What was that?
Is it dead? No, I'm kidding. So I think people passed out from heat strokes and too much.
Yeah, that's right. I saw your picture.
But I don't know. I mean, can you and I do 37 15-second pieces on our social media about Vegas is dead and hashtag it and pick up on the trend like so many quote unquote influencers are doing right now? Yeah, but it's it's kind of played out. I mean,
I'm here to tell you, when I go to the strip, it is very much not dead.
Yeah, I mean, numbers are down. I mean, but
people talk shit, but guess what? There's a line out the door to get in. So I don't know what to tell people.
We were on the strip Thursday night. We did a couple pop arounds. Stage door, Mona Me, went down to Brewdog, enjoyed the patio, even though it was a little warm. They do have a great happy hour every day from 12 to 6, where it's half off all their beers.
Beer Park is owned by Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, is it?
I didn't know that. Yeah. Beer Park, Big Chicken, and just real quick, you didn't put it on the list, but he was in town to dedicate a new, not a boys and girls club, but a children's what he's building. What what a stand-up guy. Like, it's like using all his money to help children and low-income communities. I know some friends of mine do his party that he does every year, and it is a huge event. And he always tips like 100%. Yeah, like he tips incredibly well. So the people that work those parties love working them because he takes care of everybody. And I want to give Shaq a shout out. He's a great guy.
But here's the real question. You said a moment ago he's stand up. I mean, he's 7'2". Does he need to?
He's a stand-up guy, yeah.
He's 7'2". Does he need to stand up?
Yeah, no.
I think the man wears a size 22 shoe.
He could probably sit next to me and we'd be on the level.
Right, yeah. Get up, stand up, throw your hands up. Moving on. Let's see. We talked about the airline jugging. Do you know what it is?
It's when you take a milk jug and you jug it.
That's what the big girls say. No. Jugging is a modification of mugging that no longer can I just walk up and say, give me all your money, that you actually case the person.
Oh, so they've upgraded.
Yes. So they want a bigger...
Shitty people have upgraded, folks.
Yeah, pretty much. They want a bigger payday, so they case you at a casino, they case you at a bank.
I'm going to need a drink for this one.
If, they see that, you had a nice payout or whatever, you hit, for a couple $1,000s, they don't hit you in the parking lot where there's cameras and per se security. They wait until you're out in the wild, and then they, before you've gone to the bank, before you've gone home.
Which is stupid because, like, there's cameras everywhere. So
that's true.
They could wait.
Did you tell that to the girl? Did you tell that to the girl at Huntridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could wait, leave the parking lot. But guess what? There's a camera that follows the person that gets hit and then the person following them. So you're still going to see the car that you're in.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
I mean, as we record this right now, there's 4 cameras on us that we don't even know about. But
yeah, you should see the one in the bathroom.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding.
Whew. All right.
You need to edit that one out, right?
Hashtag John Cutter. Anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be building up local businesses, not putting them down.
That's right. I didn't put it in the paper. They did.
That was one bartender.
But yeah, I mean, if you go to all the ATMs now, I mean, like on the electronic prompt, it tells you outside, like the drive ups or whatever, at the bank, whoever your choice bank is, mine's Bank of America. Be aware of your surroundings and that. So obviously it's a trending thing up in a bad way. Yeah. Another thing trending up in a bad way, unfortunately, is you've noticed this, I've noticed this, as you referenced earlier, your daughter got to eat a scooter. I think there's already been, and we're only halfway through the year, 10 fatalities with people that have either been on e-bikes and or scooters this year.
I believe it. People, like in my neighborhood.
Just in Las Vegas.
In my neighborhood, the kids, and I live in a nice neighborhood, and the kids, they just scoop in and out between houses on the streets. They don't even, look at the stop signs. And some of these things go 30 miles an hour. So
I was in the article I was reading, some go up to 80 miles per hour.
They can, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, unmodified for sure, typically about 25, 30 miles an hour. And it's dangerous. So make sure your kids are wearing their helmets at the very least. And just explain to your kids that stop signs are a thing. And if you're on a vehicle, you need a two-wheeled vehicle, a motorized vehicle, you need to obey the same laws as traffic.
Yeah. That was pretty nuts to say. And again, I respect motorcyclists, and they kind of do stupid things on the freeway where they think they can weave in and out of lanes, especially when it's jammed up. Yep. And I've seen stupid people do stupid things on e-bikes and scooters. And just because you per se have an open road doesn't mean you should take the open road.
Stupid people walking and talking.
That's true. Yeah.
If you give them any kind of motorization, they get dumber.
Yeah. A couple more things in this segment before we're going to chop this one up and kind of break it up with some stuff we're trying. This week, Dolly Parton announced her residency at the Colosseum during NFR.
Amazing.
Later. Yeah.
Do you think, I think it's going to be the most expensive residency in history.
Hasn't it already sold out?
I'm sure it already has, and probably for record prices.
I mean, it's been 20 plus years from my reading that she's toured.
Amazing.
So, I Will Always Love You, Joel Reid, working 9 to 5. Islands in the Stream.
I cannot wait to see the resale prices for those tickets.
You think they're going to get like a laser Kenny Rogers to do a duet?
Oh God, I hope. You never know. I really doubt it. I hope she's classy enough not to do that.
Hopefully so. I mean, hopefully her songbook is.
I wonder how she's doing with the Jeff Bezos money she got.
I don't even know what she did.
Remember Jeff Bezos? He had a moment of kindness, and he donated. I think it was $1 billion to 3 people. One of them was Don Lemon, Dolly Parton, and I can't remember who the third person was.
For Dollywood?
No, for just to help people and make lives better for other people because of the work they do. I don't remember what it was called. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, Jeff Bezos, in a moment of kindness. Now he's spending $50 million on his wedding this weekend, but whatever. I guess everybody that's working the wedding is probably very happy because they're making a fortune, right?
Here's a stupid joke. What did a guy in the 1970s call his penis when he saw Dolly Parton?
I have no idea.
Dollywood.
Dollywood. Oh God, that's terrible.
That is terrible. But
that is absolutely terrible.
All right, so that's why I'm not going to clickbait that one. One more thing, like
you're not even a dad. Well, you're a dog dad, I guess.
Yeah,
that's why it was so terrible.
That's why I'm wearing shorts. You can't see the dog.
Not even your dogs can groan when they hear the bad joke.
Right. And then like last weekend, that crazy storm that kicked up at Lake Tahoe, like they just like within like 2 hours created, killed.
Well, left. I'm not going to say anything about global warming because this isn't a scientific podcast or climate change. I think that's a new technical term. Global warming is dead. Climate change is real. That storm cell blew up in like 2 hours. It created a massive storm. You should have seen the video, man. These waves were out of control. Capsized the boat. Killed what? Eight people on the boat?
Yeah.
One of them was like a CEO of DoorDash or something like that.
Yeah, one of the food delivery services.
Terrible tragedy.
When I first saw the video late last weekend, early part of the week, I was like, "One, is this real?" Because I'm like, that's Lake Tahoe. That looked like an ocean that was having a tsunami.
Yeah. Well, Lake Mead, when it gets windy, usually I used to have jet skis, and you want to be back before the sun starts to ebb, because when the sky cools, it creates like convection and it can create winds through there. And even Lake Mead, on a jet ski, if you get caught out there, you get 2 to 3 foot swells. It's not very fun.
Yeah.
Not very fun at all. So yeah, you want to be back. If it gets windy, you definitely don't want to be out there on a small.
This next segment brought to you by Darren Benjamin, meteorologist. What's today's heat index? And do you have on your SPF?
I do not.
It is warm out there today. We had an unseasonably cool week. It was nice.
It was very nice.
And then I think we're supposed to be kind of like in the 90s again next week.
I'm not sure. It's so weird here. Like, I mean, driving to California for the last couple years, I've noticed areas of California that are green that I've never seen green in 20-something years.
Yeah.
And it's really strange. And, the Vegas summer, it's where it's sweltering. It's super hot. We still get like 115. We have these moments where it's not so bad. And it's kind of weird. Like, I don't think I've ever quite noticed it like this, but
yeah, it's warm out there today. But like, I mean, I think the majority of this week I've walked outside with.
I walk to work every morning, and the other day I walked to work. It was 79 degrees at 9 a.m. The next day it was 89. The day after that it was 91.
Okay.
Kind of wild. Anyway,
last bit of this segment, we haven't talked about it in a couple episodes because we've kind of been like this way and that and squirrel and where are you at and what am I doing and who's on first?
Up, down, all around.
Yeah. Cheers. You ever seen that show?
I think I've watched an episode or two.
Season 1, episode 17, Diane's Perfect Date.
Yeah. I love
You watched it twice?
Date. I did. It was a double date, so I figured I'd have to watch it twice.
Yeah. So in the increasingly sexual tension, love tension between Sam and Diane that just continues as we get to the end of the season. And then
I love that, like the part where they kind of going at each other, and then like I can pick you out a great date. You can pick you out a great date, and Sam's like, because he's so fucking ignorant, or not ignorant, but blissful, and he's like, she wants to go out with me. Of course, the guy's always like, yeah, of course she loves me. Well,
I like before the first commercial break, the episode was like Diane coming back from another date, and the gentleman whose talent was counting using the amount of numbers that were used in the previous sentence.
God. Can you imagine? That's so annoying.
Yeah,
that'd be cool for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, Asperger's gone wrong, but but yeah, I mean, obviously the sexual tension, and then fundamentally, Diane gets Sam a date, and then Sam thinking that Diane's going to be his date, and then last second. Effort goes into the pool room, the billiard room, if you will, and picks out a guy coming out of the toilet who, as we don't come to find out immediately, but was a convicted murderer.
His name was Andy. His name is Andy. And when she comes back from the date and her hair is blown out because she's on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
That was very Sigourney Weaver, like Ghostbusters, I thought.
Yeah.
But,
yep.
Another great episode. People ask us why we watch Cheers. We're like, well, we call the group Vegas Day Drinkers, and why wouldn't we talk about one of the most classic bar shows of all time, if not the classic?
Well, as a
show?
bartender, and it's one of the that show and It's Always Sunny are just like, I think It's Always Sunny is more representative of bartending nowadays. Obviously, everybody's dysfunctional,
Sure.
and not so much back in the 80s.
I had somebody at the bar last night, and I had a guy that was, well, he's from all over, but he lives here now. Actually, not too far from you. His name was, I'll keep his name private, but just in case.
Yeah, you might want.
But he had, in a short amount of time, in like an hour, he had 2 pours of Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he smoked weed before, but like after that first one and like the second sip of that second one, he went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I'm like,
the ambient hit,
something,
the edible hit,
something. And like, that's the thing that, we have our TAM cards, we have our sheriff's cards. And, it's like I told, management last week, I'm like, we don't have walkthroughs that tell us what their toxicology level is or whatever they have in it.
We don't know what they've taken prior to getting to the airport or popping when they take their first drink, and we don't know how it's going to hit them. Edibles take over 90 minutes to hit typically, and if you take one before you come through TSA, you get through TSA, that thing's not still going to hit you for another hour.
Yeah.
So
a man that looks like he was not afraid of having a cocktail in his life suddenly was kind of,
I can tell you stories like Ambien's another one. People have, like they're like, I'm afraid to fly, and they have 4 drinks and they take an Ambien. Next thing you know, they're like doing unspeakable things on the airplane.
Yeah.
Just wild, man. Just
TikTok auditions, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But there was a gentleman that was sitting next to him who was just basically coming from Oahu to get on the same flight to go to his mother's wedding in Kansas City this evening, to get back on a flight tonight to get back to Oahu because his business is doing so well in Oahu right now.
Good for him.
He couldn't get off, but he sat there and he looked at me. He's like, man, I couldn't do what you do. He's like, you got so much patience.
Yeah.
He's like, and I told him my go-to line is like, I go, that's why they call it Maker's Mark, my friend.
It's Mark.
That's why they call it Maker's Mark. Hey, we're going to wrap up this segment and we'll be right back with one more where we're going to talk about some of the best of 2025 with Las Vegas Weekly and our thoughts.
Joy and pints of glee, dive bar stops and rooftop spree. We're your host on this liquid trail with stories wild.
All right, so Chris here's got a list he surprised me with. It's the Las Vegas Weekly Top 25. What we got? What do we got?
I mean,
got it all
obviously,
written down here,
there's
right?
hundreds of subjects or hundreds of categories.
But we're speaking of the top 25.
We're just going to talk about some of the ones that are kind of in our wheelhouse.
A lightning round, if you will.
Lightning round, if you will.
He's going to tell me what it is, and I'm going to tell him my quick thoughts.
I'm going to give you an overview of what the LV Weekly said. So to avoid any lawsuits for legality of words used, we are paraphrasing some of Las Vegas Weekly, but then we'll add our own opinion, which is done pretty much every day on TikTok.
Sure.
Best new Italian restaurant, Caramella. It's a 70s soul-inspired feel and soundtrack, Will. This new offering from the Tao Group is inside Planet Hollywood. They offer veal meatballs, cavatelli, bolognese, a cocktail named after the most famous pompadour on The Sopranos. Dare we say Polly Walnuts.
You went, right?
What?
You went, right?
Yeah. And a secret room behind the candy store. But you have not been.
I will never go because it's too expensive and it's on the Strip. And I have to pay for parking.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bang.
Bang. Done.
Next.
I mean, it is a pretty sexy room. And when I walked in there, I kind of was thinking, what does this feel like? And there's that one scene, and I should have looked at that better, but it's the movie Munich, and it's where Eric Bana's character goes to meet the kind of the fixer, and they're outside of a kitchen display that's all orange in whatever European city. So it very had much that 70s vibe of, what was that? Formica? Or what were they using back then?
Oh, it's it's the same tile they use in movie theaters. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, okay, a little closer to our wheelhouse. Best brewery, Able Baker. Great room, great brews at the head of Main Street. A good start or a good finish to all the watering hole Main Street now has to offer in the Arts District.
Probably. I mean, I love all those places down there, but probably going to be the most successful of the
Able Baker.
Yeah, because they're just the most inviting, the most. They have the long tables, it's so very social, kind of makes people be social.
They've got the garage door when the weather's
garage
nice.
door, the kitchen's nice, and with all the development going on down there, as long as they can afford the rent, they're going to be around for a long time.
Yep. I mean, they've got the Impale Ale. They've got their, hazy IPA. I thought they were expanding their room. Obviously, we have our friends down there too at Huddle Brewing, who are always very gracious and generous to us. Again, it's a list that LV Weekly curates, so it's their list. I can't, argue with them because it's a good spot. Best happy hour for back-to-back years, someplace we're both very familiar with. Whiskey, no vowels, but sometimes why.
Well, I know you are a big fan of you because it's close to your house. I'm not crazy about their happy hour. They do have good monthly classic cocktails like old fashions or
I had a rusty nail there the other
whatnot.
day.
Yeah, and not bad. I will give them that. But the food, I'm like, it's very cookie cutter.
Yeah, the food menu is constantly evolving. What I like is the simplicity of it, because on their happy hour, be it in the evening or reverse happy hour later, all your draft beers are 50% off. It's not tiered. It's not $1 off this or $2 off that. It's simplistic. We're exposed to thousands of marketing messages a day just as we walk through life, and it's like
it's a very corporate place. I do like the bartenders and the staff are very nice, but like they have. I was telling Chris one day they have a brick wall and it's just laminate. Like it looks like a brick wall, but if you start looking at everything in there, it's just all like something covering something.
I thought you meant that was a personality of one of the bartenders.
No.
Oh, how dare you!
So, no, I would never.
Best chicken nuggets, McDonald's. Kidding. You just had it the other day. The Nuggies at Jive Turkey.
Did they win best chicken nuggets?
They did.
Oh, they're amazing. They're great.
Yeah, juicy chunks of real chicken, breaded and fried to a golden perfection. Then Save said that I think they have 4 or 5 dipping sauces. That
honey mustard was excellent.
She said it's the best honey mustard sauce she ever had.
Wow.
So,
they were very good. It's actual chunks of chicken. It's not a chicken slurry. And I think it looks like they dip them in cornstarch and like soda water and batter, and it's kind of like a Korean style type chicken batter.
Yeah, good food does not have to be complicated.
Yes, exactly.
Best late night eats, Flow and Tide pub. I say about this one, a winner by attrition and submission.
I've only had like one burger there, and I think the fish and chips there once. It was good. I'm not no complaints there. I
haven't really eaten there too much. I've been to several of their outlets.
I will say McMullen's has always had the best fish and chips, but they have some stiff competition. Flowing Tide's not bad, and there's another place called it's the English place, the Codfather.
Oh, the Codfather. Okay.
But it's not a bar, so.
Yeah, I just think as we've moved forward in time past the quote unquote pandemic, that some of these bars and operators that have closed their kitchens, either late swing or early grave, where they haven't really done the public a service. I understand labor, I understand cost, this and that, but there's just not as many places for late night eats anymore.
Yeah.
And not that like Flow and Tide is a bad selection. I just think that there used to be a lot more out there that offered the public better selection.
Yep.
My opinion, no disrespect to anybody involved. Best pizza, your place, my place. We all love this place. Red Dwarf.
Oh, they won Best Pizza?
Best Pizza. So part steampunk, part tiki, part Detroit style, part Cicerone. This small spot by the boys over there. What are they on?
Vegas Valley.
Vegas Valley and Maryland.
Used to be an old dive like drug bar back in the day. Scooters or something like that. Smugglers in.
But Russell Gardner's done a good job over there, and like anyone that you've talked to that's gone there,
because it's as divey as you want it to be. It's great. I actually I like it more than the Double Down because it's just more accessible, and more local, food. And it's less touristy.
And he has food. Yeah.
And the bathroom is fucking atrocious.
I say this to every person I talk about it to. You want to Uber there, and you want to Uber out because there's nothing else around it, and you don't want to walk around that neighborhood.
They have bands. They have burlesque nights. They have all kinds of great activities. And I will say, if you like the pizza, the Grey Witch just opened in Henderson as well. And they actually have a 350-person venue that they will be doing concerts.
Really?
Local bands. So yeah, separate ticketed events. But when you get done, drinks and food. The same wonderful pizza, by the way. And their pineapple does belong on pizza is fucking amazing.
Best cocktail menu and mover and shaker. And if I mispronounce his name, I apologize. That's I believe, a Korean girl. Jugging Explained. And this is pretty much from Las Vegas Weekly. Weekly states proficient in flavor profiles and maker of mean cocktail and one of the best mixologists in town. Led programs at Rose Rabbit Lie, the Dorsey, Delmonico, Fontainebleau, the Laundry Room, and most recently, the Doberman. When you see her behind the bar, you know you're in the right spot. Which my comment is, she's short. I can't see her behind the bar.
I don't know anything about it, so I unfortunately I can't really.
No, she's got some pedigree and she's been some hot spots, but obviously she moves around. And
Doberman, is that the new place downtown?
It's the new club,
right
private
downtown?
Club that's across from Cornish Passy on the other side of Charleston.
Okay.
Which I've seen but have not stopped in.
I am not a fan of private clubs because they're exclusive and not inclusive. And I'm a kind of person that likes to hang out with everybody. So once you close the doors on certain people, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I get it. I mean, which is why you or I probably haven't been, because even if you can go in as a non-member, but
I would love to go and experience it for sure and change my mind. I mean, like if you're listening, like I'd love to.
Best cocktails, Stray Pirate.
Haven't been yet.
I've been once with Mr. Rafferty and Mr. Hunt.
Been trying to go, and I end up going to the Silver Stamp, and then I just end up not going anywhere else.
Which I said, yeah, Mr. Rafferty and Mr. Hunt back in February, which I think it's Mr. Hunt's birthday today. So happy birthday, Brendan.
Yes.
Fun names of cocktails. You have the Goonies.
Who did we run into? Oh, it was Silver Stamp that used to work at the German social club where they do the game that Brendan likes to play.
Oh, the Ska.
Yeah. Excuse me, Ska.
With names of cocktails like Goonies Never Say Die, which is a triple rum based pineapple and allspice cocktail, and then you get it in the Kraken, which obviously has Kraken rum in it.
I have to go. Yeah,
I've only been. I mean, yeah, their swag. I mean, obviously the Tiki Bar evolution since the Golden Tiki, which got best Chinatown bar on the list, and then Frankie's. You just kind of keep having these iterations. So like we went from a couple Tiki bars 5 years ago, like now we have 6, 7, 8.
It's kind of like Irish pubs in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
We had a girth of Irish pubs, and now it's weeded out. And now there's only a couple.
Yeah,
I think the same thing is going to happen with tiki bars. Like Red Dwarf again is tiki adjacent. I think.
Yeah. Well, I will say I've only been once. We went from very chill in there, and it was a weekend night, so you expected it to it was a frenzy within an hour. Yeah. They do have a display case by the back bar, not on the back bar, but as you go to the toilets. So their swag game is on point. They've got some cool looking glassware that you can buy. They've got T-shirts, hats, all the accoutrements that you normally expect of a bar. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure their retail and/or merch game does pretty well too.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Best downtown bar, which you just said haphazardly, Silver Stamp. In addition to a fantastic curated beer menu, stellar hot dogs, pickle chips, pickled eggs.
We've already said enough about Silver Stamp. Yeah, they know. We know.
And then subsequently, and I was telling you about this before we started recording, Best Henderson Bar, Corey's Fine Wine and Spirits, which is more so a liquor store, but it's kind of transformed some of their space into a tasting room.
Kind of like an office bar.
No, I mean,
not all of them. The one on. Right by the airport.
Right. It's more, that's more bar with like off-license sales. This is definitely more liquor store. Like 85% of it's forward retail, but then they have this component of a few tables and like some drafts you can have. But their staff is very knowledgeable. They're very akin to what they're doing as far as product knowledge, product they're bringing in, not just mishmash, like whoever, not that Total does a bad job or Lee's does a bad job, but everybody there seems to be dialed in.
Did you say everybody?
Everybody. The only thing that I do find...
Gen Z of you.
If I was a bar in Henderson, though, I would take this as a slap in the face. A per se true bar or
I
restaurant.
Haven't been, so I don't know. But like you said, they have a very fervent fan base. So you tell your fervent fan base to write in and tell everybody they're the best. And, that's what happens is they write in and make it the best.
Right? And then our personal challenge as we wrap up this segment and this week's episode of Vegas Day Drinkers. The best Vegas podcast is called CityCast Las Vegas, featuring David Figler and Sarah Lohoran.
Okay.
So It's informative chats with prominent locals, politics to entertainment. So they kind of jump over the
Hey, I'm
spectrum.
gonna have to. I have no idea. I never even heard of it, but I will take a listen. I may and subscribe.
They released like a 32-minute episode yesterday, so I was kind of listening to it on the drive over. They're going pretty hot and heavy on ICE and what you kind of tell me about off air the other night about the swap meet and closing down.
Yeah.
So,
No, I was asking about it, and your wife told me what it was going on, and obviously this isn't a political podcast, so we're not going to talk about it. But
right, but that was the topic they were chewing on pretty heavily as I listened to them on the drive over. But that's a good wrapping point. So we're trying a couple different things. We were out and about in the wild. We've sent some emails out. We're continuing to evolve. Oh, one other thing, Mr. Benjamin, is I believe after I accept some people, we're going to go north of 800 people in the group today. So from 7 to 800, we went pretty fast.
Yep, on to 10K. And Chris so graciously said that he would go to Disneyland and day drink with me if we hit 10 grand.
Trader Sam's, look out, bitch.
Yeah.
So. Don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, send us an email, vegasdaydrinkersclub@gmail.com. We're putting stuff out there. Sip.
Socialize.
Shine.
Bye, kiddos.